Hello, CABDA. Thanks so much for having me today. My name is Amelia Neptune. I'm the director of the Bicycle Friendly America program at the League of American Bicyclists. And I'm excited to be here with you to talk about how bike shops can go above and beyond the Bicycle Friendly Business Program. And just in case you're not familiar with the League of American Bicyclists, we are a national nonprofit bike advocacy organization. We've been around since 1880, originally founded to advocate for the very first paved roads in the country. And today our mission continues in a similar vein to create better networks for biking for all ages and abilities. We're leading the movement to create a bicycle-friendly America for everyone. And we do that with the support of a network of over 200,000 supporters, including bike clubs, bike shops, local and statewide bike advocacy groups, and everyday bicyclists. Over 80% of our revenue comes from individual members, and we're really grateful to them for that support. Now, we do this work to create a bicycle-friendly America for everyone through a number of programs and initiatives, including we host the National Bike Summit every year in March here in Washington, D.C., to bring bike advocates and bicyclists here to advocate with their members of Congress for better biking funding and policies to support better biking in their communities, and advocate year-round at the federal level. We also run the Smart Cycling program that trains and certifies league cycling instructors, provides them with the curriculum to teach bike safety in their communities. We run the website data.bikeleague.org that provides the statistics and stories to help make the case for better biking at the state, local, and national level. And we do a lot of support work for state and local bike advocacy groups that are having such a great impact on the ground through reports and research and through programs like the one I run, the Bicycle Friendly America program. So the BFA program evaluates all 50 states every other year and ranks them in the Bicycle Friendly State program. And then we have opt-in programs for communities, businesses, and universities to be evaluated and recognized for the work they're doing to support biking. The Bicycle Friendly Business Program, as part of that suite of programs, has been around since 2008, and to date we have over 1,000 bicycle-friendly businesses certified in all 50 states and DC, including over 200 bike shops. The BFB program is open to businesses and organizations of all shapes and sizes. So we have everything from churches to elementary schools to coffee shops, office buildings, Fortune 500 headquarters, you name it. And like I said, over 200 bike shops are on that list as well. And you might be wondering why a bike shop would bother going through the process to become recognized as being bike friendly, when obviously if you're a bike shop, you probably love bikes, all of your employees probably love biking. You're probably thinking, you know, of course we're bike friendly, why would we need that award? And I hope I can make that case for you today, because being a bicycle friendly business is a really great way to connect with other businesses in your community, to strengthen your business and to strengthen your community. The BFB program is a platform for all kinds of businesses, including bike shops, to find ways to be even more bike friendly, even if they're already doing so much, and to engage with others in their community to support biking. So first I'll step back and talk about how you become a bicycle-friendly business, in addition to talking about why. So like I said earlier, it's an opt-in program, which means that you have to fill out this online application, which is very convenient to fill out. You can save and return to it and work over time, or sit down and do it all at once. And you can also preview the BFB application in a PDF format if you'd like to just see what it's all about before bothering to create an online account to view the online application. There is an application fee. Business members of the league, that fee is waived. So if you're already a bike shop member of the league, you don't need to worry about paying for the BFB application. Otherwise, it's normally $50. And the online application takes you through a series of questions to support your all the ideas and concepts that might be possible for different kinds of businesses. So it's a long menu of options, and it's really designed to be an educational tool. Now, after businesses apply, they get evaluated by our reviewers, And then we give out awards for those that meet our criteria. And everybody that applies, whether they get an award or not, gets feedback from us on how to improve. And as bike advocates, this is the real beauty and the real tool of this program, is to help all of these businesses, whether they're already doing so much and receive a platinum award, or whether they're not quite there yet and they get honorable mention, giving them the feedback and the guidance to improve, to be better at supporting bicyclists. And in addition to the feedback from our reviewers, you also get survey results through an employee survey that is part of the review process. This is just a screenshot of some of the images you might see in your feedback report and your employee survey for the bicycle friendly business feedback. And then, like I said, the recognition is a really big piece. So, we get picked up by national media. We also give awardees a toolkit to help you promote your own designation so you can brag locally or in industry news. We see a lot of bicycle-friendly business announcements in Brain, for example, and a lot of local news outlets pick it up. And if you're a bike shop looking for ways to promote biking in your community, having a new award in your community might be a good way to get others talking about it, to get other businesses thinking about maybe they should be bike friendly too, and maybe they should go after this award too. So it can be a good way to just stir up the conversation in your community about what other businesses could do to be bike friendly. And I'll talk more about this in the presentation. We also promote all bicycle-friendly businesses, as well as communities and universities, through our online awards map, and you can see the link here. I encourage you to go and explore it. You can click on any state, see the numbers, and then scroll down to see the list. And for communities, you can also see report cards for every community that's bronze or higher in the BFC program, and that includes our recommendations to that community about how to improve and move up to the next award level. So now, what are we looking for in a bicycle-friendly business? We've organized the application into what we call the 5 E's, so engineering, encouragement, education, evaluation, and planning, and then equity, diversity, and inclusion is the common thread and the really essential lens to look at all of the other E's through. So going into a little bit of detail here, engineering is things like your location, your access, how easy is it to get to your building by bike, and what are you doing to improve that access? So if you're in a pretty crummy area for biking, how are you working with the community to improve that, to bring better bike infrastructure to your community, directly to your business, helping out neighboring communities or the surrounding area at being more bike friendly. So it's, if it is bike friendly right around your business, but there aren't a lot of neighborhoods that can get to your business, making sure that connectivity exists and advocating for better bike access. And then internally at the business, things like bike parking are so important, and end of trip facilities. This can be for offices, it's often things like showers and lockers and, a fancy changing room. For a bike shop, it might just be, a pretty straightforward changing room that's easily accessible. It might be a water bottle filling station. It might be a fix-it station outside. I'll provide some more examples as we go through. Encouragement, this is things like commuter incentives, access to shared bikes, internal bike culture, so the kinds of events and rides and recognition programs to support bicycling and to show potential bike riders and current bike riders that you really support them. Again, in a bike shop, this stuff is often a given, but there are a lot of ways you can go above and beyond with these things. Bike to Work Day and National Bike Month, or if you're in a state that has a different bike month like Colorado or Florida, celebrating that local bike month, or creating your own if your community doesn't already do some kind of bike month or Bike to Work Day celebrations. How can you be, the catalyst for that event in your own community? And then finally, supporting local, state, and national bike advocacy. Next is education. This can include things like offering classes on bike safety and maintenance, but it's also not just the in-person classes, but all the other ways you can share information. So at the time of sale, somebody buys a bike, what kind of information are you giving them to help support them ride home safely, or know that they're gonna, be equipped with all the right tools they need if they're trying to commute by bike, or, the knowledge they need, the rules of the road, bike maps, all the different things, where to ride, what to ride, how to ride, And this can happen in person, this can happen with handouts, this can happen online on your website or social media. There's a lot of different ways bike shops have done really innovative things to be the center of bike education in their community and support bike education for their employees, for their customers, for their neighbors, and the community at large. Next is evaluation and planning. So this, often for smaller businesses like bike shops, a big piece of this is data tracking. And again, you might think, well, we all ride. Why would we bother keeping track of, who's riding when everybody on staff is biking to work? Well, make it fun. Make it part of an encouragement effort to track how many miles people are riding or how many rides they go on per week. Participation in your rides and your classes and your events, if you're hosting these kinds of public-facing things, can be another great way to track data and set goals so that you're being ambitious and sort of looking to the next thing to go above and beyond what you're already doing. Another thing we look for is dedicated staffing, and this can be, official or unofficial, but having somebody on staff who is responsible to respond to feedback of people saying, oh, I wish your bike parking were a little better. Oh, great, talk to so that that's who we can work with you to improve this thing that you have feedback on. And then, as I mentioned, part of data tracking is setting measurable goals and being ambitious so that you're striving for the next best thing that you could accomplish and setting those benchmarks with your data collection and then setting your goals to be ambitious. And then finally, the fifth E is equity, diversity, and inclusion. And this is really about breaking down barriers for everyone, recognizing that not everybody has the same barriers, but being inclusive, inviting with your events and your education, making sure your bikes that you're selling and your facilities are accessible to everyone, accommodating all ages and abilities, and really meeting people where they are. And I love talking about how equity fits into all of the other E's with this graphic, because this really shows very well that, like I said, not everybody has the same barriers. So trying to address problems, a wide variety of problems with the same solution doesn't always work. You can't give everybody the exact same bike. It's just not going to fit. So figuring out what barriers exist and then working to address them, whether that's around your bike parking or your education. Do you need to offer multiple languages? Do you need to add some adaptive bike parking or even adaptive bikes to what you're selling? Do you have a wide variety of events that are being advertised in a wide variety of places so that you're reaching people where they are? Those are the kinds of considerations. One thing I like to point out is, having information on your website so that people know what to expect when they come to your shop, whether that means, where to park their bike if they're coming for the first time, to, buy some accessories, or, the rules on bringing their bikes inside, those kinds of things, making sure that's easily accessible to someone who's new to biking or new to your store, and again, identifying those barriers and working to break them down. So now I'll just give some examples of real things we've seen on bicycle-friendly business applications from bike shops all around the country. So earlier I talked about location and access and the advocacy to improve that access. This can be everything from writing a letter to the editor, signing on to support things when it's up for consideration at your city council, to actually getting involved in things like trail maintenance. One of our most recent new BFBs, Red Rock Bicycle Co. in Utah, they hired not only an active transportation specialist on their staff, but a trail maintenance specialist after several years of having a volunteer group work on mountain bike trails in their community. And they did this with, help and support from local tourism bureau and others. And so, thinking about this work and how you can accomplish it, we know bike shops don't have giant budgets for these kinds of things, but there are a lot of potential community partners that you can bring in to do this kind of work and work together to create these kinds of solutions. Bike parking is another area under engineering that, bike shops especially, they think, well, everybody can just bring in their bike and, we don't need to worry about providing bike parking because anybody can bring their bike in. That may be true, but it might not always feel that accessible to a newcomer. So having really obvious bike parking available right out front I love this example because it's, you know, spots that used to be car parking, now they fit, where 2 cars used to be, now they can fit, you know, over a dozen bikes. And it's just very obvious, very easily accessible right in front of the bike shop. So people know they can arrive by bike, and even if they're not, you know, getting their bike worked on, they can access the business really easily, and they know their bike is going to be safe and secure outside. We've also seen bike shops like Platinum Level Landry's in Boston area go really above and beyond with topics like bike parking by offering consulting to other businesses. This is a page on their website, so if you wanted to go check it out, you can learn more. But, you know, things like helping other businesses figure out their bike parking solutions and encouraging them to have good quality bike parking is a great service for bike shops to offer and a way to get more involved. And think of this as education too. You know, this is a form of advocacy and education, helping other destinations in your community be more accessible by bike. We've also seen a lot of bike shops do things like offer bike valet as a fee for service, or just, you know, volunteering themselves every Saturday at the farmers market in town, those kinds of things. It's, you know, really great for bike shops to get involved in those kinds of events, and bike parking and bike valet is a really good in to be at those kinds of events. There's, you know, we've also seen bike shops that go above and beyond by actually purchasing bike racks or helping to pay for bike racks for other employers or destinations in their communities. And then I mentioned fix-it stations. You know, this is one that bike shops often think, well, we've got all these tools inside. Why would we bother having tools outside? Because you're not open 24/7, simply put. And this is a really nice thing to offer, you know, people in the community who just need some air. They don't want to bother your staff, or maybe they're there during off hours. Having something like this that you can put out, take in, or have permanently is just a really great way to show the community that you care, and helps make, you know, quick, easy bike maintenance things easily accessible to more people. Also thinking about the physical space of your shop and how you can use that to share information, share educational materials, and build community. You know, have a spot where people can sit and maybe read some books about biking, or, you know, have a meeting, have a place that's inviting for bicyclists to come and sort of build up that bike culture in the community. Using your space for events. Obviously, you know, right now with COVID, this might be limited, but you know, we love seeing bike shops that, you know, host bike advocacy groups for meetings, host their own classes, host their own events, bring in speakers on, you know, a range of topics. And again, all around building bike culture in the community. You know, we've even seen some bike shops provide the permanent space for their local nonprofit bike advocacy group to meet every month. Or their BPAC meeting to meet in off hours. You know, these kinds of things are really great for bike shops to offer. In thinking about the kinds of events or rides that you want to offer or host or sponsor, think about things like all women's nights and other kind of affinity groups that you might be able to offer to create really welcoming spaces for people who might not want to show up at the regular ride because they feel like nobody there looks like them, or, you know, is from the same part of town as them. So reach out to make partnerships with those different groups if you don't have them represented on your staff or among your regular riders, and work to build that community so that you can host those types of affinity group rides. Here's an example from a recent BFB. They host a monthly Bells Who Bike at Bicycle Bell in Somerville, Massachusetts. And, you know, it's just a monthly event for women who bike, and they work really hard to be accessible to all ages and abilities, and to have these different kinds of events that are really open and inviting for different groups. And when we think about growing the local biking community, you know, opening your doors to them, making your shop accessible to more people is one way of doing it. Another one is to going out into the community. So this is an example I love of what's called the Bikerama at Bicycles International in Venice, Florida. And they have this sort of mobile bike shop that they move around to different neighborhoods in their community and offer free bike maintenance. This is one of the reasons they are a platinum level BFB, and it's just a really amazing example of making bike maintenance accessible to more people who otherwise might not be able to afford to go to their shop. And then, you know, all the different kinds of events you can get involved with in your community, whether that's hosting or supporting things like bike rodeos for kids, or I mentioned bike valet at the local farmers market, these kinds of events, sporting events, really so many ways to get involved in the community. And again, having it very readily available on your website and in print if you've got a bulletin board in your shop, posting about the rides, the clubs, the ways that people can get involved in your community, and making that really easily accessible for people, helping them plan out their first ride, or help them participate in the events that are already happening. Another thing I love to see is bike shops who not only decide that they want the recognition, but they're going to help other businesses in their community apply for bicycle-friendly business recognition or become bike-friendly. And so going into other local businesses to offer things like a lunch and learn on, things like fix a flat or bike commuting, or, anything that your staff are equipped to teach about, or, give a short presentation on, or bringing bikes to, things like a corporate campus to offer tune-ups, partner with that business, have them pay you so that it's free for the employees who participate. This is a really great thing leading up to Bike to Work Day or other sort of events at that employer, encouraging them to, have all of their employees participate in this before their big ride or before their big Bike to Work Day, so that they can get, a free tune-up sponsored by their employer, and, learn about some local bike advocacy or rides or education, things that your employees can talk to them about. You can also host classes at your shop, which I've mentioned, and you can have educational information on your website. Both of these are really great ways to make biking safety and maintenance education more accessible. And like I mentioned, teaching classes at different organizations, partnering with different employers in your community. You'd be surprised how many places are looking for things they can do at their workplace to build up, camaraderie and, improving their own employees' experiences with different benefits and perks. And one of those things that other businesses, non-bike related businesses, love to do is bringing in biking experts, because it's a fun topic for their employees. And so I always encourage them to look at their local bike shops and ask around if any of them are willing to do these kinds of, on-site classes, or these days virtual classes, or showing up at their employee wellness fair, those kinds of things. There are lots of great opportunities. And if you're looking to expand your bike education offerings, I strongly encourage you to use the League Smart Cycling program. Like I said earlier, we've got curriculum to help people teach bike safety in their communities to children and adults, including bicyclists and drivers. We have a lot of great resources on our website, including videos that you could repost on your website or on your social media, totally free of charge. And if you're interested in becoming a league cycling instructor, or even hosting a seminar or sponsoring someone else to attend a seminar, there's a lot of information on our website about how to do that. So I encourage folks to check out the Smart Cycling program and the LCI program. And then finally, just reiterating that looking internally is so important at bike shops. People sort of take it for granted that bike shops are innately bike friendly, and that there is some degree of truth to that. But bike shop employees love it when their employers support them in their biking efforts, biking to work or biking as a passion or a hobby on the weekends. So thinking about things like commuter incentives. And I love this quote from a bike shop in Kentucky that said, "It is good business for us to be on bikes." And that mentality of, leading by example, making sure your employees know the routes, so that someone who's buying a new bike and is wondering how to get from their home to their job, your employees, as they're ringing them up, can also talk to them about their route, or about safe biking, or about local events that are happening. So a couple ways to do this. Commuter incentives are a really awesome thing to offer your employees. And we see this done a lot of different ways. Everything from something like this, 35 cents per mile for every day that you bike to work, to $1 credit for each one-way ride. And that can be cash, or it can be store credit. And we hear from bike shops in the BFB program that employee morale skyrockets when you have a commuter program that supports people biking to work. Your employees will thank you. They will be so grateful for supporting and showing that you care about their health, their wellness, their well-being, and their commute to work, because that does have such a big role in how our quality of life is. I know for me, days I bike to work, I show up so much happier, more alert, more productive. And we hear this from almost every bicycle-friendly business, that the employees who show up after a bike ride are just so much more on the ball, ready to work, compared to employees who, say, drive to work or take the train. So, this is a good reminder for all of us as employers. It's really good business to support your employees biking to work, even if they already love it, even if they're already doing it, making it even easier, reducing barriers for them to bike to work every day. And again, the BFB program, our application will give you a lot of other ideas for how to support things like biking to work for your employees. So with that, just to summarize, why become a bicycle-friendly business? First of all, it's very easy for bike shops to be awarded the BFB status at some level. Not every bike shop gets platinum, but a lot of them do based on all the great things they're doing in their communities. But you're most likely going to get an award if you apply as a bike shop. And it's just a great way to motivate your staff, increase teamwork, give them something exciting to work on with new ideas, both sort of internally and externally on how to be more bike friendly. Develop new business connections and opportunities with some of the things that we'll suggest to you, like going to employee fairs or giving lunch and learn talks to other employers in your area. And finally, serving as a role model for other businesses in your area to support and promote bicycling. Going through the process yourselves, becoming a bicycle-friendly business is a great way to coach and mentor other businesses and encourage them to do this too. And that's a really important step to increasing the sort of political capacity of the bike movement in your own community. And so on that note of political capacity, I wanted to give a quick plug for the federal advocacy work that the League is doing. You can go to our blog and read about all the really exciting things that are happening in Congress right now. You may have heard about some of them. And this is sort of rapid moving. So rather than try to summarize all of it, I'll encourage folks to go to our blog, because every day we're getting new posts from our policy staff on the latest things that are happening. We've got a checklist on our website of all the things that we're tracking in the latest bills and sort of what's being accomplished. And so far, things are looking really good for biking. Things like reinstating the bicycle commuter benefit, developing an e-bike rebate. And if you want to support all of this work, I strongly encourage folks to sign up for our action alerts and at this website, at our Take Action website. And coming to the National Bike Summit is another way to really make your voice heard. This year, it's going to be hybrid in 2022. So there will be an online component if you can't come to Washington, D.C. If you can, we would love to have you in person meeting with your senators. But otherwise, we'll be doing house meetings virtually, and we really look forward to hosting thousands of bike advocates from all over the country to make the case on Capitol Hill for better biking. So I hope that you'll explore the other League programs, find other ways to get involved with us, join the League as a bike shop member, and get involved in your own community. If you're not already tapped into the local bike advocates or local clubs, we have a map on our website called our Connect Locally map. You can enter your zip code at bikeleague.org/connect and find all the League cycling instructors, the member clubs and advocacy groups and other member bike shops that are in our network. And I really encourage everybody to get super involved with those other local groups. So there's our website. Thank you so much for attending this session. Feel free to reach out with any questions at all at bfa@bikeleague.org. And if you are interested in applying to the Bicycle Friendly Business Program, our next deadline is October 5th, 2021. And if you're watching this after that date, the next deadline after that will be March 2nd, 2022. So thanks again. Look forward to getting all those Bicycle Friendly Business applications from your bike shops, and hope you reach out and connect with the League. Thanks a lot.